welcome to Rathod Science Academy. Today in this session we are going to see current affairs of 8th February 2025. So let's get started with our discussion. So there are many articles in our newspaper which are relevant from your UPSC point of view. So let's get started and let us see the first article. So if you see the title, guys, it is talking about repo rate. Title says RBI slashes rate by 2.5% to revive growth. So here there are two important keywords in this article. So first one, it is about your RBI. Second one, it is about decreasing of repo rate. Okay, let me write those two keywords. First one is RBI. Second one is repo rate. So from which subjects it is important? So we'll be seeing about this RBI, which is Central Bank of our country, in your GS paper 3 under economy. Okay, so here what are the dimensions you have to see? You have to see about some key facts. You have to see about some key facts regarding RBI. And apart from that, you have to see about MP, that is monetary policy of RBI. And here in this monetary policy, we have different instruments, qualitative and quantitative. So we have two types of instruments, qualitative and next one is quantitative. So you have to see about different types of qualitative and quantitative instruments which used by your RBI in monetary policy. So one such an instrument is repo rate. Okay, so why this repo rate is in use? From 2020 onwards, we maintained repo rate of around 6.5. And now, for the first time from 2020, there is decreasing of repo rate by 0.25 points. Okay, so because of this is in use. So what exactly you have to see? You have to see what is this repo rate, and you have to see, yes, now decreasing of repo rate happened. So because of that, what will be the impact on our economy? So what will be the impact? You have to see these two things. So this is from your basic point of view, like key facts of RBI. You will be studying something regarding which is the act that led to formation of RBI, what are the functions of this RBI, who is the governor, so what is eligibility criteria, who will be appointed as governor. So like that you have to see some basic facts regarding RBI, and other than that you have to see what is this repo rate and what is the impact of this repo rate. So first I will be telling you about what is this repo rate. So we have RBI. For example, let us take this is RBI. And we have other banks like commercial banks, scheduled banks, like that we have different banks. So whenever banks are borrowing money, from RBI, so they will not give money for free, right? So they have to pay certain interest rate. Okay, so that interest rate to be paid by banks for the money they are borrowing from RBI. So this interest rate is called as repo rate. Okay, so this is the concept of repo rate. And now let us see what is this article talking about clearly. So Reserve Bank of India made a significant monetary policy shift. So it cut down 25 basis points, and earlier it is 6.5 and now it decreased to 6.25 percentage. So from May 2020 onwards, there is a significant shift of our monetary policy stance. So because of this is in news. And if you see some important points, the first one here is the historical context of rate cuts. So from May 2020 onwards, that means from last around 5 years, around, that means I'm saying like around 4.5 years, there is no cut of repo rate. But now in 2025, in the month of this February, Now we had reduction of this RBI's monetary policy, that is repo rate, by 25 basis points. So here it is one important thing that you have to see, like from pandemic onwards, now we had reduced our repo rate. So why? Because there is even high inflation rate and even global uncertainties are there. So what are these global uncertainties? You can take into account Russia-Ukraine crisis. You can take into account this Israel-Hamas, Israel-Gaza, Israel-Palestine issue. And you can also take into account Trump 2.0 era. So because of this Trump 2.0 era, there is decreasing of value of rupee, and even there is increasing of sanctions on different countries, increasing of tax rates or tariffs, and even one more thing is what he's doing is also sending back Indians from USA who are illegal migrants. So because of all these things, it is having impact on our economy. So because of this decision which mainly taken, so that we can have a proper inflation control in the market. And second important point that you have to remember here is impact on consumer loans. So there is reduction. Whenever there is reduction of repo rate, now banks, they will be having enough money so that there will be increasing of loans. So now borrowings will become cheaper for the people, and even it will be providing some relief to the consumers. Especially they can take more home loans, more automobile loans, etc. That will leads to increasing of spending in sectors. Okay, and obviously that will leads to economic growth of a country. And next one here is rural and urban demand dynamics. So RBI is making some observations about the signals in rural and as well as urban consumption. So as you all know that there is decreasing of consumption of fast mover goods, fast moving consumer goods in urban areas. And even there is decreasing of demand for consumption. There is decreasing of demand for the goods in this area. So because of this, yes, we have to increase the demand. So if you are making people to get loans, they will be getting money and they will be going for placing of demands. So in this way we are focusing on how to improve demand, how to increase demand and as well as consumption. So that these are the measures taken by RBI under this monetary policy. So what is this repo rate? Repo rate is also called as repurchase agreement rate. It is nothing but the interest rate at which commercial banks, they are going to borrow money from RBI. So it is a short-term liquidity. Okay. And what is the impact on this borrowing cost? So whenever we are increasing repo rate, costly loans, decreasing repo rate, cheaper loans. So whenever we are decreasing repo rate, there is cheaper loans for the banks, lower interest rate for the borrowers, so that they will promote loans to be taken by the people. And what are the implications of this repo rate cut? So what happens? So whenever there is decreasing of lower borrowing cost, then the businesses, they will easily expand. They will take more amount of loans and they will expand their business, and that will leads to higher production, and even that will leads to increasing of job creation as well. And whenever there is decreasing of rate, that will also make this loans cheaper, lowering of EMIs, so that it will boost borrowing and as well as spending. That means we can create economic growth. And next one is strengthening of financial markets. So now banks, they may reduce interest rates on saving accounts and as well as fixed deposits, so that we can make savings less attractive. And instrument is even we can increase our export competitiveness, and even we can control inflation in the market. So these are the things that you have to remember. And I also gave you one mains question. See the mains question, discuss the impact of repo rate cuts on economic growth and inflation. Okay. And now I want to show you an image, guys. So see this image of a beautiful deer drinking water, but water quantity is very less, right? So as you all know that summer started, that is spring started, so there is increasing of temperature and we are feeling very tired, dehydration had been started. So what about this animals which are living in this forest? So wild animals are also facing some problems regarding water insecurity, or there is lack of proper water availability. So this image, which is about a deer in Mudumalai Tiger Reserve in Tamil Nadu. So if you are getting any kind of this kind of national parks, or like any biosphere reserve or any animal in news, then you have to go through that for sure. So now let us see some facts regarding this Mudumalai Tiger Reserve. So where it is located in state of Tamil Nadu. And actually this is located at the tri-junction of three states, Karnataka, Kerala and Tamil Nadu. And actually it is part of Nilagiri Biosphere Reserve, okay, along Wayanad Wildlife Sanctuary in West Bandipur National Park. So these are some areas where we can see a rich wildlife. Okay, so actually the name Moodumalai means nothing but the ancient hill range. Okay, so if you see other important tiger reserve which are present in Tamil Nadu, we have Annamalai Tiger Reserve, we have Kalakand Tiger Reserve, we have Satyamangalam Tiger Reserve. You have to see nearby aspas what are there. Okay, and now let us see the next article. Title says 9 submarines, 65 ships taking part in tropics exercise. So this article is talking about one important naval exercise called as tropics. So you may get prelims question based on this tropics for sure. So if you are right in this year prelims, so be careful with that tropics. And this topic is important from your GS paper 3 under defense point of view. So now let us see some facts regarding what is this tropics. So context is saying that the Indian Navy is currently conducting its biennial theater level operations exercise. So it is conducting biennial, that means it will be conducted once in every 2 years. And it is theater level operational exercise. And it runs from January to March in Indian Ocean region. So let us see some highlights of this exercise. So if you see this TROPEX 25, it is also called as Theatre Level Operational Readiness Exercise 2025. It is one of the largest biennial maritime exercise. And this exercise led by Indian Navy. And even Army is going to participate, Air Force is going to participate, and as well as Coast Guard. That means overall defense system of our country is going to participate in this exercise. And this exercise which is focusing on joint warfare, power projection, and also countering challenges in Indian Ocean region. And if you see here, senior military leaders, they are witnessed operations abroad, INS Vikrant. They are using this INS Vikrant. It is one of the India's carrier-based air power. And this exercise demonstrates integrated fleet operations. And also they will be uniting Eastern as well as Western fleets. And even chiefs of this army, navy, air force, they will be also going to participate. So in this way, we can call it as a joint warfare coordination. And this TROPEX 25 will also strengthen our Indo-Pacific strategy, and it's also helpful for expanding of Chinese naval. They are going to find some solutions against expanding Chinese naval presence, and even we are countering China. And it will be also helpful in regional security and as well as Quad cooperation as well. So these are the things that you have to remember. And now let us see the next article. It is about major announcements to be made during PM France visit. So our Prime Minister is going to visit France. So this article is important from India-France relations. It is important from India-France relations. So from which subject you will be seeing, guys? You will be seeing this from GS paper 2 under international relations. Under international relations, you will be seeing this topic. So what are the things that you have to focus? So you have to focus on certain dimensions like history of India-France relations. And you have to see major areas of cooperation. And you have to see what are the challenges we have in India and France relations. Okay, so all these things that you have to see. And even you have to see present context. So in this visit, what are the things that we are going to talk? From present point of view also, you have to see the things. Okay, now let us see the context. During Prime Minister Modi's upcoming 3-day visit to France, they are going to have some significant announcements in various sectors. So, in which areas you are focusing? You are focusing on defense, they are focusing on artificial intelligence, and as well as nuclear energy. So, if you see some important details, you are saying that yes, we are going to improve our defense partnership. So in defense, which equipment that we are getting from France, that is Rafale jets? Yes, there is an announcement of Rafale M fighter jet deal so that we can deepen the defense relationship between India as well as France. And even we are going to finalize some defense contracts that will going to reach around $11 billion. That means we can understand these two countries are committing to make strengthening of their ties, and as well as defense production they want to go for indigenous, that means developing in their country. Okay, and even from India point of view, we are focusing on Atmanirbhar Bharat in this defense through this Make in India project. And apart from this, in this meet, they are also focusing on AI. Especially, they are giving AI governance a priority. So they are going to have this AI Action Summit. So it is going to provide safe and responsible AI development. And in this safe and responsible AI development, we are focusing on ethics, ethics in AI governance. And from the, both the sides, they are having an important aim to address societal aspects of technology and even how we can ensure the benefits for almost all the sectors of society. So all these things we will be focusing on. And this one is we are also focusing on expanding nuclear collaboration. Okay, and even we are going to have a visit regarding International Thermal Nuclear Experimental Reactor. That means even India is having a vision of sustainable energy initiatives. So we are going to focus on diversifying of our energy sources, and as well as we are focusing on improving of cooperation in nuclear technology, and even we are focusing on small nuclear reactors, and even government is focusing on providing cleaner energy solutions and also to enhance energy security. And this one is we are also focusing on improving of aircraft maintenance capabilities as well. And even especially we are focusing on IMEC so that we can reach this Europe, and it will be very much helpful for improving of economic ties with these European countries, so that this corridor will also helpful for facilitating of trade and as well as investment and to get more connectivity, and also it will be helpful for making India's position very reinforced in this global supply chain, and as well as we can have cooperation with multiple countries. And next one here is we can also strengthen educational ties. So even there is a goal of increasing the number of Indian students in France to 30,000 by 2030. That means we are also focusing on improving of culture and as well as educational ties. And this initiative will also helpful for greater understanding and as well as collaboration between two nations, so that it will be benefiting Indian students and as well as France students. Okay, now let us see the next article. It is about center holds consultation with states on setting up of manufacturing facilities. So this article is talking about especially the keyword that is biomanufacturing. So this article is important from one important policy of India. That policy is called as Bio E3 policy. So this topic is important from your GS paper 2 under governance, and as well as from GS paper 3 under environment and ecology. Okay, so now let us see this topic in detail, and you have to know some important basic facts regarding this Bio E3 policy, and you have to see what is the present context, and you have to see about importance of biomanufacturing sector in our country. So every aspect is very important. So now let us see all those things. So if you see context, it says that The recent consultation organized by Department of Biotechnology, New Delhi, and this is mainly aiming to discuss about establishment of biomanufacturing facilities across various states in India. Why? Because recently our government of India approved Bio E3 policy. So in this context, we have to focus on establishment of now biomanufacturing facilities. So now let us see the key points. The first important point here is biomanufacturing will helpful in production of bio-based chemicals and biopolymers and even enzymes and also precision therapeutics. And this sector, it is very important for addressing economic and environmental challenges. And even this sector will provide some opportunities for innovation and will also lead to sustainable practices in various industries. And now if you see the second important point which is given in this article here is, so here it is also very important because the state also plays a very important role regarding coming up with of state related policies. So there is lack of biotechnology policies at the state level. It is acting as a barrier. It is stopping growth of this sector. So here this article is saying that states, they need to establish clear frameworks and regulations to the support biomanufacturing. That means even whenever central government is taking any policy or coming up with policy or framing a policy, they have to take the states into consideration. That is the thing which mainly said, because states can also have an opportunity so that they can attract more investments, and as well as they will also can take part of fostering innovation of our country. And next one here is there is a need of federal support. So the discussions mainly pointed out that yes, we need central government. Central government need to provide some direction and as well as funding for this biomanufacturing sector. And even states without substantial backing, so their initiatives might not achieve the desired scale. That means they need to be also prepared well regarding this biomanufacturing. And this one here is we have to go for establishment of state-centric bio E3 cells so that it will be helpful for enhancing of capabilities of the states. And this one is we need to have a proper collaborative frameworks so that we can share some best practices and we can align towards objectives and we can ensure both national and economic level economic strategies. Okay. And what is this Bio E3 policy? It is a policy to address national priorities. So in this Bio E3 policy, we are focusing on especially sectors like bio-based chemicals, biopolymers, enzymes, smart proteins and functional foods, precision biotherapeutics, climate resilient agriculture, carbon capture and utilization, marine and space research, R&D. So in all these areas we are focusing on. So, but why we need this policy? So, first one here is we need to have a multidisciplinary approach. So, which holds a potential to provide solutions for what are the challenges you're having in different sectors. What are those different sectors? Health, agriculture, environment, energy, industrial process. And actually, we need to attract more investments. For this also, we need to have this kind of policy so that we can promote sustainable and circular practices. And this one is we can also focus on climate change mitigation, food security, human health, etc. And even India is home to the young minds. So we are having a lot of potential to build a pool of affordable, high quality skilled workforce as well. And this one is we can increase unemployment rate, that is we can decrease this unemployment program, and even we can improve our infrastructure, and as well as we can increase our global energy needs, and even we can come up with the solutions for the new diseases and as well as lifestyle changes so that we can expect there will be the increased human capital. Clear? And now let us see the next article. So title says that technology and the challenge of equitable education. So this article is talking about mainly Acer report. Okay. So let us see the key points of this article so that you will be getting some insights regarding what is this editorial talking about. So this article which is saying that there is evolution of educational technology in India. So because of this increasing of technology, it is having impact on education, especially it is having impact on underprivileged communities. So actually this article is saying that there is increasing of smartphone usage. Okay, so because of this what happened? There is also increasing of educational access to the people. So data from this Acer report says that there is significant jump in rural smartphone ownership. So it is very helpful for increasing of educational access. And smartphones now become more prevalent in rural areas. So now they are serving as learning tools. So that whatever the traditional barriers are there, we are removing that barriers. So especially we can go for digital learning in these rural areas so that we can improve learning outcomes. And next one here is this article is also saying that mothers play a very important role in their child education, particularly, especially the formal learning of the children happens in the family through the mother. So investing in the education of mother is also very important. If a mother is educated, entire society will be educated because she is giving that much awareness. So it will be having a multiplier effect and as well as enhancing of learning environment at home. So even we can come up with some targeted educational programs that will engage women in learning, and we can also foster a supportive learning atmosphere for children. And this one is what are the digital divide is there, what are the device constraints are there. So because of this availability of smartphones, we can try to decrease this gap. And next one is we have to remove even language barriers through technology so that we can use the AI so that we can generate the same content in the different languages, so that we can remove what are the language barriers are there, so that we can make educational resources more accessible even in rural areas. And even we can go for using of some innovative learning delivery methods. So here we have successful implementation of broadcast learning programs during pandemic, and even state governments also sponsored some satellite channels. So like that, if you're using some alternate delivery systems, yes, we can approach wider audience and we can provide some educational content, so that what are the traditional barriers are there, we can remove that. And even we can go for harnessing of transformation by using of AI. So these are the things which mainly said in this article. And one more thing here is we are going to start new batch of GS Prelims Cum Mains Foundation from March first week onwards. Students, if you want to join, so you can come and join our institute, and coaching it is for 9 to 11 months. It is both on online and as well as offline. And the teaching mode is English, and every day you will be having current affairs class in your foundation course, and apart from that you will be having weekly analysis test as well, and revision test will be also conducted, so that you will be having classes along with test along with material, and even we are providing updated current affairs material of every month for the our offline students. Okay, so if you have any queries, you can call on this number. You can make a note of this number 8074765513. Yeah, even this is WhatsApp number, you can text me on this WhatsApp. And thank you so much guys for watching, and please do subscribe to Rathore Science Academy, and don't forget to like and share this class.